My name is Sarah. I am 29 years old. I live in Pennsylvania. My town is not big. It has small shops, a few churches, and a train station that is almost always quiet. There are trees on every street. In the fall, the leaves turn gold and red. I like to walk under them after work. I live alone in a small apartment. It has 2 rooms and a window that faces the street. In the morning, I make black tea. I sit by the window and watch people walk their dogs or carry paper bags from the bakery. Then I take the bus to work. I work in a small office on the 2nd floor of a brick building. It used to be a shoe store many years ago. Now there are desks, computers, and coffee cups everywhere. My desk is by the window. I like that. I can see the bakery and sometimes the library across the street. Every day feels the same. The office is quiet. People speak in low voices. They type and make phone calls. They say good morning and smile. I smile too. Then I sit down and begin my day. I like my job. It is not exciting, but it is calm. I help with reports. I answer emails. I make sure everything is in order. I don't speak much. I just do my work. For 3 years, nothing changed. The same people, the same tasks. Then one day in winter, we got a new manager. His name was Alex. He was 38 years old. He wore glasses and gray sweaters. His hair was brown. His eyes were kind. He smiled when he spoke. On his first day, he went to every desk and said hello. When he came to mine, he said, "Hi, I'm Alex. It's really nice to meet you." I stood up and said, "Nice to meet you too." That was all. But after he walked away, I looked at the floor for a long time. Something felt different. Alex changed the feeling of the office. Not in big ways, but small things felt new. He remembered people's names. He asked how they were. He listened when they spoke. He never made anyone feel small. When someone forgot something, he didn't get upset. He stayed calm. He helped. He watched. He noticed. He asked Carol about her cat. He asked James how his son's soccer game went. He asked me if the tea in the break room was still the lemon kind I liked. I did not think he remembered. One day, he placed a small box of lemon tea bags on my desk. "I saw these at the store," he said. "You like this kind, right?" I said yes, but softly. He smiled and walked away. I looked at the box for days. I didn't open it. I just let it sit there. After that, I started noticing him more. How he stood near the window during meetings. How he fixed his glasses when he was thinking. How his voice stayed calm, even when things were busy. I didn't mean to notice. I didn't try, but I did. I wrote more in my notebook at home. Not letters. Not dreams. Just moments. His voice when he said good job. His face when he helped someone. The way his hair curled a little when it rained. small things, but they stayed with me. I knew Alex was married. On his desk was a photo. A woman stood next to him, smiling. She had dark hair. A little boy stood in front of them. He looked like Alex. A girl stood beside him with her arms around her father's leg. They were in a park. It looked like a warm day. I looked at that photo sometimes. I told myself, this is his life. He has a family. I never wanted to change that. I never dreamed about taking him away. I just lived with the feeling, quietly. I never spoke of it. No one knew. Not my sister. Not my coworkers. No one. It was mine. A soft thing I carried every day. When he walked past my desk and said, "Good morning, Sarah," I said, "Good morning," and smiled, but only a little. Just enough. I didn't look at him for too long. I didn't follow him with my eyes. I was careful. At meetings, I kept my eyes on the screen. When he joked and the others laughed, I laughed too, but only softly. I didn't want anyone to look at me. Sometimes I stayed late at the office, not to see him, just to feel the silence after everyone left. I liked the sound of the heater. I liked the view of the empty street. I liked being alone with my thoughts. I finished my work slowly. I watched the lights turn orange outside. I packed my bag and walked home. I didn't take the bus. I walked the long way, past the bookstore, past the old cinema, past the river where people fished in summer. It was cold, but I didn't mind. On weekends, I went to the park. There was a small lake with ducks, a few benches near the trees. I sat there with a paper cup of tea. I watched children run. I watched couples walk hand in hand. I watched old men feed the birds. Life moved around me. I felt calm. I didn't need to be part of everything. I liked watching. I liked sitting still. Sometimes I thought about Alex. I thought about what he did on weekends. Maybe he took his children to the park. Maybe he made pancakes. Maybe he read the paper with a blanket over his knees. I didn't want to know. I didn't search. I just wondered. I didn't ask for this feeling. I didn't look for it. It came slowly, like rain that starts with one drop, then another, then a soft shower. It didn't hurt, but it didn't go away either. It stayed with me. I never wanted anything from him. Not his love, not his attention, not his time. I just wanted to feel something again. I wanted to remember that I still could. That was enough. There was no plan, no ending, no story. Just days that passed one by one. I went to work. I answered emails. I drank tea. I saw him walk by. I wrote small things in my notebook. I went home. I cooked rice or soup. I read for a little while. I went to bed. I woke up and did it again. It was a quiet life, but I did not hate it. I had what I needed. My heart was full in its own small way. I didn't speak it. I didn't explain it. I just carried it with care. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. Winter passed. The snow melted from the sidewalks. The trees turned green again. People opened their windows. They put flowers on their porches. The streets became busy. I still walked the same path every morning. I still sat at the same desk. The bakery across the street changed its sign from hot coffee to fresh lemon cake. I watched people wait outside for their bread. I watched children ride scooters down the sidewalk. Life moved forward, slowly but always forward. I stayed quiet. I did not try to change anything. I just lived my days. Alex stayed the same. He wore soft sweaters and carried a black notebook. He came early and left late. Sometimes he brought pastries and left them in the break room. "Take one if you like," he said once as he passed my desk. I smiled. I said, "Thank you." I waited until he was gone. Then I walked to the break room and picked a small round bun with sugar on top. I ate it at my desk with tea. It tasted simple. It made the room feel warm. There were moments that stayed in my mind. One time, I dropped my pen. It rolled under the desk. I bent to pick it up. When I sat up, he was there. He had walked over while I was looking down. He smiled and asked, "Everything okay?" I said yes. My face felt warm. He stayed for 1 second more. Then he walked back to his desk. It was nothing, but I wrote it in my notebook that night. Another day, I was fixing the printer. The paper was jammed. I pulled one sheet out, but it tore. He came beside me and said, "Let me help." He pressed one button and the tray popped open. He pulled out the rest of the paper. He said, "There you go." I said, "Thanks." His hand brushed mine by accident. I stepped back quickly. He did too. He said nothing else. I walked back to my desk. That night, I watched the rain fall on my window. The streets below were quiet. I turned off the lamp and sat in the dark. I did not cry. I did not speak. I just sat. Some evenings I took the longer bus home. It went past the lake. The water reflected the lights from houses. The houses looked warm. I saw shadows through the curtains. People sitting at tables. People watching TV. It made me feel calm. It made me think about how everyone has a life they return to. A dinner. A story. A laugh. A soft voice saying, "How is your day?" I had none of those. I had silence. I had soft music and tea and a chair by the window. But I did not complain. I had peace. I had stillness. I had a love that did not ask for anything. Spring turned to summer. The days became longer. The office opened the windows some afternoons. We could hear the birds outside. One day, I stayed late again. Everyone else had gone. I worked on a report. The room was quiet. Then I heard footsteps. I turned. It was Alex. He smiled and said, "Still here?" I said, "Just finishing this." He walked to the coffee machine. He poured a cup. He didn't speak. He sat at the table near the window. I kept typing, but I was not really working. I felt the space between us. Not heavy, just present. Like a coat you don't wear but still carry in your hand. After a while, he stood and walked to the door. He stopped and looked at me. "Don't stay too late," he said. I said, "Okay." Then he left. I listened to the door close. I looked out the window. The sky was turning pink. I thought of how quiet feelings can be the loudest. I packed my things and went home. Sometimes I saw him outside work. Once, at the bookstore, he was with his daughter. She was holding a book about stars. He was kneeling beside her, pointing at the pages. He looked up and saw me. He smiled. I smiled back. Then I walked to another aisle. I did not want to stay. I did not want to feel more than I already did. Another time, I saw him at the park. I was sitting on a bench watching the water. He was walking with his wife. They pushed a stroller. The boy walked beside them, holding his mother's hand. They looked like a picture. Calm, full, whole. I turned my face toward the trees. I waited until they were gone. Then I walked home. These small moments stayed with me, not as pain, not as hope, just as memories. I did not dream of anything changing. I did not want to break anyone's life. I did not ask for more. I just wanted to feel what I felt, to carry it with quiet care. At work, nothing changed. I smiled when he spoke to me. I stayed polite. I never stepped closer than I should. I never asked about his family. I kept my eyes on my screen. But I listened when he laughed. I looked up when he walked past. I noticed the way he touched the edge of his glasses when he was thinking. I noticed the way he said thank you like he meant it. These were the things I carried home with me. Some nights I read old books, stories about people in cities far away, people who waited, people who watched, people who loved in silence. I understood them. I did not need happy endings. I only needed to feel real, to feel alive. And I did. Sometimes I sat on my balcony with tea. I watched the sky turn from blue to gold. I watched the lights come on in windows across the street. I thought of how many people feel something and never say it. How many hearts stay quiet? How many eyes look away? Not because they don't care, but because they care too much. I wrote that in my notebook one night. Some love is not meant to speak. It only needs to stay. Then I closed the notebook and turned off the lamp. Summer was slow. The days were warm and long. People wore light clothes. They sat outside cafes. They walked slowly in the streets. In the office, we used fans. The windows stayed open. The papers on my desk moved with the breeze. I drank cold tea and worked quietly. Alex still came in early. He still smiled when he passed my desk. He still remembered things I didn't think anyone noticed. He asked if the air by my window was too hot. He brought extra cold water for the break room. He fixed the light above my desk when it started to blink. He never said much. He didn't need to. His actions were full of care. One day he called me into his office. He wanted help with a report. I sat across from him. The window behind him showed trees and cars and bright sunlight. He explained what he needed. I listened and wrote notes. Then he looked at me and said, "I'm glad you're here. You make this place better." I smiled. I said thank you. Then I looked at the papers again, but my hands were still. I could not write more. Later that night, I sat on my floor. The room was quiet. I looked at the window, but I did not see the street. I only thought about that sentence. "I'm glad you're here." I repeated it in my mind. I did not say it out loud. I did not smile. I just held it in my heart. That weekend, I went to the lake. I took a book, but I did not read. I sat under a tree. Children were playing nearby. A couple walked past with a dog. A woman laughed on the phone. I sat still and watched the water move. It sparkled under the sun. I thought about love. Not the loud kind. Not the kind in stories. The kind that lives quietly. The kind that never speaks. The kind that only watches from far. That was the kind I knew. Time passed. September came. The air turned cooler. The trees began to change again. I saw gold leaves on the sidewalk. The bakery started selling pumpkin bread. People wore jackets. The office was busy again. New projects. New reports. More meetings. I worked as always. I stayed quiet, but my eyes still followed him. My ears still listened for his voice. One afternoon, I saw him standing by the window. He looked tired. He held his coffee and stared at the street. His back was to the room. I watched him for a few seconds. Then I looked away. That evening, I wrote in my notebook, "Some people stay in your life only for a short time, but they change something inside you. You remember them even when they forget you." Another day, he helped me with a file. We sat side by side at the computer. He leaned close. I could hear his breath. He showed me something on the screen. Our hands touched by accident. He didn't move. I didn't move. It lasted only 1 second. Then he looked at me. I looked back. We didn't smile. We didn't speak. Then he said, "That's done." He stood up and walked away. That night, I did not write anything. I sat in my kitchen. I ate toast with butter. I drank warm milk. I listened to the clock. It ticked softly on the wall. I thought about my life, my quiet days, my clean apartment, my long walks, my notebooks full of small things. I thought about him. I thought about what I wanted. Then I said to myself, "You do not want to take. You only want to feel." That was true. A few weeks later, I saw him walking with his family again. It was a Sunday. I was walking to the store. He was coming from the park. His wife pushed the stroller. The boy held a balloon. The girl wore yellow rain boots. He held a coffee cup and smiled as they walked. They looked happy. I stepped into a small alley and waited until they passed. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel jealous. I felt quiet. I felt still. At home, I washed dishes slowly. I folded laundry. I opened the window to let in the breeze. I told myself, "This is your life. It is not loud, but it is yours." I smiled, but just a little. The season changed again. October brought wind and dry leaves. Then it rained for many days. Then it was cold. We wore coats and scarves. We brought soup in lunch boxes. I saw less of him. He had more meetings. He worked behind closed doors. I missed seeing him pass my desk, but I said nothing. One evening, I stayed late again. I had one report left. I worked in silence. Then I heard his voice. "You're still here?" he asked. I looked up. He was standing at the door. I said, "Almost done." He walked in and sat across from me. We didn't speak. Then he said, "You're very good at what you do." I said, "Thank you." He looked at his hands. Then he looked at me. "Take care of yourself, Sarah," he said. I nodded. He stood up and walked out. That was the last time we were alone. After that, things changed. Slowly, but they changed. He didn't speak to me much. He was still kind, still calm, but we kept space. We stayed polite. I didn't mind. I understood. We had both felt something, but we didn't say it. We couldn't say it. Winter came again. Snow fell on the rooftops. People rushed inside to stay warm. I sat by my window and drank tea. I wrote one last line in my notebook. Some love is not made to grow, but it still teaches you how to feel. Then I closed the notebook and went to bed. I still go to the same office. I still walk the same streets. I still see him sometimes. He still smiles. I smile too. But it's different now. I carry something quiet inside me. Not pain, not hope, just peace. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon. My name is Dr. Maya Carter. I am 38 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California. I work as a gynecologist in a small hospital near downtown. Every day, I meet many women. They come to me with pain, questions, fear, and sometimes with hope. My job is not just to treat their bodies. I also listen to their stories. Each one is different. Each one stays with me. I start my day early. I leave my apartment at 6:30 a.m. The streets are still quiet. The sun rises slowly over the tall buildings. I drive to the hospital, park my car, and walk in through the side door. I greet the nurses. I check the files for the day. I look at the names. Some are new. Some are familiar. Some make my heart heavy. I remember their faces. I remember their tears. My first patient this morning is a young girl named Jessica. She is only 17. She walks in with her mother. Her eyes are red. Her hands shake. She looks scared. Her mother does not speak much. She just holds her daughter's hand. I invite them to sit. I speak in a soft voice. I ask Jessica how she feels. She says she is late. She has pain in her lower stomach. She thinks she might be pregnant. Her voice is low, almost a whisper. I do not judge. I never do. I tell her it is okay. We will find out together. I ask her some questions. Then I take her to the exam room. I check her gently. I run a quick test. A few minutes later, I tell her the result. Yes, she is pregnant. Her eyes fill with tears. Her mother stays quiet. I wait. I let them speak when they are ready. After they leave, I take a deep breath. This is how my day always begins, one story at a time. The next woman I see is Maria. She is in her early 40s. She works as a cleaner in a hotel. She speaks with a soft Spanish accent. Maria comes to see me every few months. She has pain during her periods. The pain is strong. Sometimes it makes her fall at work. She cannot afford to miss too many days. She has 2 children. Her husband left years ago. She works hard to feed them. I examine her. I suggest some new medicine. She says thank you again and again. She always brings me a small gift. Today, it is a red apple. She says, "For the best, doctor." I smile. I tell her I am just doing my job. Later in the morning, I meet a woman named Alicia. She is 34 and just moved from Texas. This is her first visit. She is 6 months pregnant. She wears a yellow dress and has a notebook in her hand. She writes down everything I say. She wants to do everything right. She is alone. Her husband works in another city. He can't be here until the baby is born. Alicia is scared. She wants someone to listen. I check her baby's heartbeat. It is strong. I show her the screen. She smiles with wet eyes. I needed this, she says. By noon, I sit down to eat lunch. I only have 20 minutes. I drink some water and eat a sandwich. I look out the window. The city is alive now. I hear cars and people. My mind stays with the women I saw. Each one carries something heavy. After lunch, I meet Helen. She is 60 years old. She is elegant. She wears a hat and walks with a cane. Helen tells me she has been feeling strange. She has not seen a doctor in 10 years. She says she was afraid, but now she wants to know. I examine her. I find something that worries me. I tell her gently. She listens without blinking. Then she says, "I knew it." Her voice is calm. I ask her if she has someone to help her at home. She says no. She lives alone. I hold her hand and tell her we will go step by step. The rest of the afternoon moves fast. I see women of every age, every background. Some speak English. Some do not. Some laugh. Some cry. But all of them need care. I try to give them time, even if it's just a few minutes. I look them in the eye. I listen. I explain things clearly. I do not rush. They are more than patients. They are mothers, daughters, workers, students, and survivors. They have seen things. They have lived through pain. And still, they come. Still, they trust me. As the sun begins to set, I meet my last patient for the day. Her name is Amara. She is 26 and works in a law office. She walks in quietly. Her face looks tired. She says nothing at first. I ask her why she came. She says, "I don't know what's wrong. I just feel sad." All the time. She sits still. I close her file. I stop typing. I look at her. I ask her if she feels pain in her body. She shakes her head. No pain. Just emptiness. We sit like that for a while. Then she tells me her story. She had a miscarriage last year. Since then, she has not been the same. She says no one understands. I tell her, I understand. And I'm here. I give her a number for a counselor. I give her hope. When I finally leave the hospital, it is almost dark. I walk to my car slowly. My feet are tired, but my heart is full. I think about all the women I saw today. Their voices echo in my mind. Their words stay with me. This is not just my job. It is my calling. I help them heal. But they also teach me. They remind me every day that behind every file is a story. Behind every story is a woman. And every woman matters. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The next morning, I wake up early again. My apartment is quiet. I drink some coffee. I look out the window at the city. The sky is pink and blue. I think about the women I will see today. I wonder what stories they will bring. Every day is different. Every day is the same. At the hospital, I meet my first patient at 7:30 a.m. Her name is Li Mei. She is from China. She speaks some English, but not much. Her husband speaks for her. I ask her how she feels. She touches her stomach and says, "Baby okay?" I check her quickly. Her baby is fine. She smiles a little. Her eyes are tired. I ask her husband to wait outside. I want to talk to her alone. She looks nervous. I speak slowly. I ask if she is safe at home. She pauses. Then she says, "He gets angry. Sometimes he shouts. Sometimes." She stops talking. I do not push. I give her a small card with a number. A women's shelter. A safe place. She takes it and hides it in her shoe. I say, "You are not alone." She looks at me. For the first time, she smiles with her eyes. My second patient is someone I know well. Her name is Denise. She is 45. She has 3 children. She always talks a lot. Today she is quiet. I ask her what is wrong. She says her husband lost his job. She works 2 shifts already. She has no time to rest. Her body feels tired all the time. I examine her. I tell her everything looks normal. But I also know tiredness is not always in the body. Sometimes it lives in the soul. I hold her hand. I tell her, "You are strong, but even strong women need rest." She nods. Her eyes fill with tears. "Thank you," she says. Later in the morning, I see Sophia. She is a college student. She wears a hoodie and jeans. She looks young and worried. She thinks she might have an infection. She talks fast. I ask her to breathe slowly. I check her. It's a mild case. Nothing serious. She is relieved. She thanks me many times. Before she leaves, she says, "I didn't know doctors could be kind like this." That makes me smile. Being kind is part of healing too. By noon, I sit at my desk. I look at the files for the afternoon. I think of all the women who sit in my waiting room. Some of them are afraid. Some of them are angry. Some of them are just tired of waiting. But they all came. They all took that first brave step. After lunch, I see Claire. She is 50 years old. She wears a bright scarf and red lipstick. She walks in with a confident smile. But when I close the door, she starts crying. She says, "It's menopause. I feel crazy." She tells me she can't sleep. She feels hot all the time. Her mood changes every hour. I nod. I listen. I explain to her what is happening. I tell her it is normal. It is not her fault. She laughs through her tears. "Thank you," she says. "I thought I was losing my mind." Next, I meet Jasmine. She is 22. She came for a routine checkup. Nothing is wrong, but she has questions. Many questions. She wants to learn about her body, about birth control, about safe choices. I answer everything. I explain slowly. She listens with care. At the end, she says, "No one taught me this before. Not in school. Not at home." I tell her, "You deserve to know. Your body is yours." Later in the day, a woman named Nina comes in. She looks pale. She is very quiet. She hands me a report. I read it. It says she has early-stage cancer. She looks at me with wide eyes. "Is it bad?" she asks. I take a deep breath. I speak gently. "It's early. We can treat it. You have time." She nods slowly. She does not cry. She just says, "Thank you for being honest." In the last hour of my day, I see a teenager named Emily. She comes with her aunt. She is only 15. Her face is full of fear. She does not speak much. Her aunt says she has not been eating. She has lost weight. I speak to Emily alone. At first, she says nothing. Then, in a small voice, she tells me her secret. She was touched by someone she trusted, someone in her family. I feel pain in my heart. I listen. I do not rush her. I tell her she did nothing wrong. I call a social worker. I stay with her until help arrives. Her story is not mine to fix, but I can hold the first piece of her pain. When I finish my shift, I sit alone in the break room. I close my eyes. My day was full of pain, full of strength, full of women who trusted me. I feel tired, but I also feel grateful. I think about how many stories I have heard. Some are happy, some are hard, some still live in my heart. I think of all the women who walk through my door. Each one brings more than a body. She brings a story, and I do my best to honor it. I turn off the lights in my office. I walk to my car. The streets are busy now. The sky is orange with sunset. I drive home in silence. I think about tomorrow. I will open the door again. I will listen again. I will care again. Because this is more than medicine. This is a promise. A promise to see, to listen, and to never forget the women who trust me with their truth. The next day, the sky is gray. The air feels heavy. I wear my white coat and walk into the hospital. The halls are quiet at first. Then they fill with voices, footsteps, and soft cries from the waiting room. It is a normal day. And still, it is never normal. Not in my office. My first patient today is Rani. She is from India. She is 32 years old and 6 months pregnant. Her husband could not come with her. He is working at a store. Rani sits on the edge of the bed. She looks nervous. I greet her gently. She says she has pain when she sleeps. I check her belly. The baby moves under my hand. I listen to the heartbeat. It is strong. I tell her she is fine, but she must rest more. Ronnie sighs. I work all day, she says. I clean houses. I cook for my in-laws. I have no time to rest. I tell her, your baby needs you to rest. She smiles for the first time. Then I will try, she says. I touch her hand. She thanks me in a quiet voice. The next woman is Grace. She is 28 and works at a bank. She has never been pregnant, but she wants to be. She and her husband have been trying for 2 years. Each month, the same heartbreak. She comes in with questions. Her voice is calm, but I see the pain in her eyes. I run a few tests. I explain the results. Nothing is wrong. Sometimes, even when everything looks fine, the body waits. The heart waits. I tell her, don't lose hope. Not yet. She closes her eyes. Thank you, she says. That's all I needed. I take a short break after Grace. I sit at my desk. I look at the photo on my wall. It's of my medical school graduation. I remember that day. My parents were proud. My mother cried. My father shook my hand. That photo reminds me why I do this work. Not for money, not for praise, but for the women who walk into this room every day, hoping to be heard. My next patient is Carla. She is 39. She has had 5 miscarriages. Today she is pregnant again. Just 4 weeks. She is scared. She says, I don't want to get happy. Not yet. I understand. I check her carefully. I speak gently. I tell her what I see. So far, everything looks good. I tell her what she needs to eat, what to avoid, when to come back. Before she leaves, she turns to me and says, even if I lose this one too, thank you for giving me hope today. I don't know what to say, so I just place my hand on her shoulder. We both understand. Later in the afternoon, I see Fatima. She is 19. She wears a hijab and walks with her sister. She speaks little English. I call in the translator. She came because of pain, sharp pain during her period. I check her and find something unusual. I speak slowly. I explain what I see. She listens with wide eyes. I can tell no one explained these things to her before. Her sister thanks me many times. No one in our family talks about this, she says. But now she understands her own body. I also meet a woman named Rachel. She is 41 and just finished chemotherapy. Her hair is short and soft. She smiles often, but I know it's not easy. Today she came for a routine checkup. She says, I just want to know if I'm still okay. I do all the checks. I look at her scans. I tell her she's doing well. Her eyes fill with tears. Thank you, she says. You are the first doctor who made me feel safe again. I give her a warm hug before she leaves. As the day ends, I see my final patient. Her name is Lola. She is 30. She works as a dancer at a club. She sits with her arms crossed. Her makeup is dark. Her voice is strong. She says, "I'm not here for your pity, Doc." I smile gently. "You won't get it from me," I say. She laughs once, then stops. She tells me she found a lump. She didn't want to come. She waited 2 months, but now it's getting bigger. I ask her questions. I examine her. I take a sample to send to the lab. She looks at me and says, "I've had bad doctors before. Ones who didn't listen. Ones who just judged me. But not you. You make me feel like a person." I say, "That's because you are." When I leave work, the sky is dark. I walk slowly to my car. I pass the emergency room. I hear voices, cries, a siren in the distance. Life never stops here. Pain never sleeps. But still, we show up. Still, we try. At home, I take off my coat. I wash my hands for a long time. I heat some soup and sit at the table. I think about the women I met today. Each one gave me something, a piece of their truth, a part of their fear, a glimpse of their strength. Some days I wonder how much pain I can carry. But then I remember, I do not carry it alone. They carry it with me. And because of that, I keep going. I think of the young girl who whispered her fear, the mother who works 2 jobs, the woman who wants a child so badly she wakes up crying, the brave dancer who still showed up even after being ignored. These women are not weak. They are not just patients. They are warriors in quiet battles, and I am honored to walk beside them. I look out the window. The city lights are bright. Somewhere a woman is crying. Somewhere another is laughing. Life goes on. So does pain. So does healing. And tomorrow, I will open my door again. I will sit down across from another woman. I will say, "Tell me what's wrong." And I will listen, because this is more than a job. This is more than medicine. This is a place where truth is told, where shame ends, where healing begins. This is my life. And these are the stories women tell me every day. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.